people from Massachusetts, they like being called that. Just like I'm a Philly guy, and I get, you like to get beat up a little bit. That we boo, Santa Claus and stuff like that. So it's just our identity, right? So all I know is scoreboard, and no matter how you win, if there's turnovers or you give up, this and that, and whatever you just did.
Because you were really hot, Rock. You were on the red, so you're too hot.
When you're talking to a Boston, Massachusetts
right.
guy,
you gotta
yell.
Don't yell.
You gotta speak loud so they can hear you.
Yeah, that's perfect. You can yell now, and it won't reverberate.
Casey Walsh joining us here for the CAZ Sportsbook. How did the book do this week in week 1 of the NFL? Then we'll get to college as well in week 2.
Yesterday we actually lost. It was pretty even throughout the day. No, we got absolutely smoked on the Sunday night game. Everybody was on the Cowboys -2.5 up to -3.5, and everybody bet the under from anywhere from 46.5 down to 44.5.
Wow!
So we got beat pretty good on both sides there.
Really?
But nobody saw that coming. I mean, in New York.
No, I mean, a lot of people you would have thought would have took the Giants getting plus 3.5 divisional game. Yeah, absolutely.
Was my underdog lock of the week right there, and I blew that out in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it wasn't close after that.
So let's talk about this Cardinal game. It went in at 7.5, 39, I believe, and a half was the over/under. It was a 4-point game, but it came down to the wire. There was an opportunity where if they would have scored, they had an opportunity in Washington. I was like, come on, Ron, Rivera. I'm like, come on, put one in, to make this spread.
One more.
But how did the book do with that particular game, specifically with the spread?
Spread-wise, we actually won some money there because we had most people on the Commanders minus the 7.
Okay. 7, okay.
We did lose a little bit on, say, like your teaser bets and your parlays because people were taking Washington down to -1. And then they were taking just money line with parlays.
What about Minnesota and Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
Because that was a game that I think a lot of people said, Minnesota's going to win this. They're at home. They had a good season last year. Their over-under, I think, is 9 wins on the season. Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield replacing Tom Brady. He's the new QB there. How'd you guys do there?
On that game, we definitely won money. Not necessarily because of the Vikings spread at the 5.5, but everybody was taking the Vikings in teasers, getting them down to +1, plus 0.5 point there. So them losing outright was a win for us.
So Baker Mayfield then surprised everybody is what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure. Nobody really thought the Vikings, but I mean, the Vikings defense should be terrible this year. So
10 of the 15 games were won on the road. That is a first, tied at first in a long time. How much do you play into that, or how much does you think the wise guys behind the scenes with the book are looking at games on the road, weather, because weather played into some of the games yesterday. You saw some guys run the ball a lot more. Even the Arizona game was soggy, muddy. It was a factor. But you saw in New England, with our game that we were talking about earlier, that had the weather. How much does that really play into it?
Oh, it definitely plays a big factor into it. Like, for instance, if you want to talk like the sharp bettors this week, a lot of the sharps were on the unders. Their other two big plays they were on this week was the Titans +3.5, and they were all over the Texans +10.5 as well. So they lost on that side, but most of the games, they tended to go on a lot of the unders, where the public tends to go a lot of overs.
Okay, so tonight it is Aaron Rodgers' debut. The Bills, which I think some people, because of all the hype about the Jets, people have forgotten how good the Bills were last year. They're pretty much the same team coming into tonight's game. And the Jets are the dog at home. So what's going on with the book?
The book today is all Jets.
Wow.
Everybody's taking the Jets plus the points. I mean, they were one of the biggest liabilities we have as Super Bowl favorites, AFC champions, AFC East division. Everybody's riding them and the Lions really high.
So I should be all over the Bills.
I mean, I probably would. It's a tough game.
I'll tell you another one that was more of a shock was that 30-7 win, but San Fran going into Pittsburgh. I think it was San Fran was favored by 2 at kickoff yesterday. I mean, that was just to see that team with Brock go off per se, but that was like, wow, in Pittsburgh to see that kind of domination.
Yeah, see, on that game, we had a lot of action on 49ers. We took a lot on the Eagles. Those were like the two obvious big favorites that everybody was on. Again?
Obvious big favorites. You said Eagles. I thought I heard Eagles there. Hey, let's go over to college football. Deion Sanders, the era. It's official. What he did. He's here. What he did in Boulder. That spread was. I got it at -2.5. last Saturday. Got up to what, about 3.5?
Yep.
And was everybody on Colorado? Because everyone said, even I think Jimmy alluded to it last week, and even when we had some of our handicappers on, that was the most bet game all weekend long.
3 minutes,
including NFL. Is that the same here?
Oh yeah, it wasn't even close. One of the things that I said was really interesting was if before Colorado played TCU, if you did the look ahead line, Nebraska was -7.5 going into Colorado. After that game, it completely switched. Colorado went from -2.5 all the way up to -3.5. And when I say if we sold 200 tickets, we did not sell one Nebraska ticket.
Wow. How often does that happen?
Never. You might have like a little bit of lopsided, but we truly
never
didn't
like that.
We didn't sell a Nebraska
They must have
ticket.
watched the offense the week before. That watch was Sims at quarterback because their offense is abysmal. So you could see that that's probably the case. Now, even the Husker fans have any faith in betting them.
Oh yeah, no.
So what is? I'm putting you on the spot, but it's the buzz. It's Colorado. Game day is going to be there. ESPN, Fox is going to be there, and it's Colorado State they're playing. That's got to be a big spread. Is this a sucker bet type weekend?
2 minutes.
Could be.
I mean, realistically, all the sharps were on Nebraska.
Wow.
Just because of the big swing. This was just a huge public all over it. And same thing with this weekend. Colorado opened as a 19-point favorite against Colorado State. That game's already up to -23.
Wow.
Minuch, that's what Scott Spreitzer said last week.
That's right.
He said, as a sports, this guy's a bookie, right? And a handicapper. He says, the book says I should bet Nebraska, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah. He just wouldn't do it.
When there's a swing like 7 to 2 or 3, like you just said, that's where you got to put your money. Now, when you look at to Jimmy's point tonight with Buffalo and New York, has that moved much?
Right now, we still have it holding at 2.5. The totals dropped from 45.5 down to 44.5. So we've seen a little movement there, but everybody's just big on the Jets. I mean, they really haven't practiced together. Rodgers played a couple series in the preseason.
That was it.
So
1 minute. You
got to figure there's got to be some rust there, right?
Yeah, and there's all that hype.
I don't know. It's freaking Aaron
so much
Rodgers.
New York Jet hype, and here we are on 9/11 in New York. Yep. Oh man, Casey, I'm playing with you about that. I really do like Tom Brady and New England.
You have to. He's the best.
He's lying.
He's Tom Brady.
So nice for him to be at that game. Inducted.
So Casey, is this an endearing term for somebody to call you a master?
30?
You embrace that?
Yeah.
Personally, I do. Yeah, I actually.
See, I told you.
I actually
That's
do.
why it's not a bad
I'm not
thing.
offended by it at all. I
I know
actually
you weren't,
enjoy it.
kid.
Yeah.